This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
As promised, another week of Meltdown Live is officially underway. I am Tim Melton. Joining me here in the Culver studio, a cast of characters that you won't get anywhere else. I promise you that. We're going to start off with the lovable wonder dog boy that is Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, how are you?
Wonder dog boy?
I'm trying to play off the crypto thing. I love that you have so much love for crypto, and I couldn't really think of what to say, and I obviously didn't think that out.
Okay, it's all right. There's 4 more days in the week. You can take another crack at it.
Every day I will work to improve it. One person who needs truly no introduction, that is the one and only Brian Pavlik. Brian Pavlik, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tim. It's always great to be here. It's always good to see you. Always good to extend epidermis to Tyler. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good. It's quiet up here today, isn't it?
It is very quiet because of the shirt you're wearing right now.
Well, it's not because of the shirt, but we're happy to help with it.
Yeah, no. I mean, Baptist Health making all the dreams become a reality there with our SEC Media Days coverage for the next round and the entire crew there. As Tyler and I are holding down the fort, it's going to be real lonely here without Pavlik for the rest of the week because,
oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going to be quiet. There's going to be hay bales.
Oh, yeah.
Tumbleweeds,
the
all kinds of stuff. Like, actually, someone will be lugging hay bales down the hall. I have no doubt. But, yeah, thank you to Baptist Health very much.
Absolutely. And, we're now several months into this, Baptist Health partnering with Orlando Health. And, one of the first things when they said, who are some local people that can sync up and really bring home the message, the next round, obviously with our relationship, partnership, sister company here, in a way, how you guys tried to disrupt the media, as the kids say. I think Orlando Health was looking at a way to disrupt healthcare in Birmingham, and that's what Baptist Health is doing. And, not to toot our own horns, but, satisfaction is going up from patients, employees, and all that. So when I saw today on the next round, I was watching. I was like, oh, how are they going to bring this home? It's a perfect partnership as far as I'm concerned. And day one of SEC Media Days looked great. And I know EG is down there. Hope she's having fun. I'll keep your seat warm. But looking forward to seeing all the interviews that they have throughout the rest of the week.
All right. Well, good stuff. And once again, really appreciate you being here for us here on the Meltdown, and appreciate Baptist Health being there for us when it comes to our coverage out of Atlanta. We are set to talk about a number of things here on today's show. There is the Superman box office report that we have been so eagerly anticipating all year long. How well did the movie perform? We're going to get into it. We also have some performers in town, some high caliber, talented, entertaining athletes that are be putting on a show. They're at the Legacy Arena. They're at the BJCC, and that is with WWE Raw coming into town. And we'll be talking with resident wrestling fanatic, Mr. Brian Pavlik, about that. We'll also be having a little bit of discussion as well about the history of Live Aid and the significance of it as we have approached the anniversary. So there's plenty of discussion to get to, and I'm ready to accomplish that. As we start with Superman, Tyler, you've once again seen this movie twice so far. As you've let it marinate over the weekend, is it a movie that you have continued to think about, or is it one where, you've had your fill and you're ready to move on to something else? Where are you right now when it comes to your Superman fandom here in this 2025 version with James Gunn?
Definitely still thinking about it. There's some just really good-looking shots, and for the first time in my life, I can call myself a Superman fan. I feel like this is just a fun thrill ride, and I might even go see it again sometime this week.
There are people over the moon about it. There are people that are doing everything they can to crap all over it. And then there are those in the middle that just want to know, is it worth, spending a couple of hours in the theater? I do think it's worth spending a couple of hours in the theater. I actually think it is very good. I just don't think it is the entire story. And I don't even mean with the character and what they're trying to tell in this movie. I'm talking about with the ripple effect of what this movie means. it came out and performed, I think, around expectations, if not just a little bit ahead of expectations. So it's a solid base hit at the box office here in the opening weekend. However, what does this mean for the U in the DCU? What does this mean for the next picture? What does this mean for Supergirl? What does this mean for Clayface? What does this mean for the next Superman? Are we going to get a David Corenswet sequel, or are they going to make the same mistake they made last time and immediately throw him into a Justice League type situation? Pacing out the characters, very important from this point. Getting Superman off the ground, pun intended, was the first step. And I think mission accomplished to that. Mm-hmm. Superman is relevant again. Superman is looked at as being fun again. How will they capitalize on that? Those are the questions. Will they tie in Robert Pattinson's Batman? It has not been fully ruled out. I don't think, well, I think the Vegas odds are that there's not a huge chance of it. I think Gunn really, really wants that.
I think Gunn wants it because Pattinson's already over with a lot of Batman fans. But that being said, they're looking at not necessarily just tonal differences between the DCU and Matt Reeves' universe, but also timeline changes. Now, there are some ways where you could kind of get to the Bat family after the Batman Part 2, but it would feel very rushed, and it would also not line up with the more comic book technology world that we see in James Gunn's Superman.
It's these two worlds, the Gotham that we got with the Batman and the Metropolis we got here with Superman, they really don't feel like they would be a part of the same world in any regard, but they got both right.
Yes.
With giving us all hope that we're moving forward with things we can actually buy into, minus what we had with the DCEU, which was very top-heavy in its fandom. The people who loved it. I mean, it was their favorite thing they ever had, the Snyderverse. I mean, they were head over heels happy, and they wanted to see it supported. Unfortunately, though, general audiences had a different opinion about the Snyderverse. And Marvel was able to grow into the giant that it was because it really did have quite the market share. I mean, they were able to corner the market on superhero cinema and take it to levels we had never seen in an anthology way before. And that was a result in making audiences happy. Those audiences now are questioning whether Marvel will ever get back to hitting those home runs. A part of the formula of hitting those home runs was James Gunn, who was coveted and brought over by DC when Disney said adios. It's a very complex story. There's many, many, many years that have gone into this. If there's one thing I wish EGE was here for, it's the fact that I totally missed on Friday what I should have told her. I've said it before, but I wanted to say it again, which is the same person who wrote Superman is the same person who wrote Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
It's the same guy. And I said that before to her when trailers would launch and everything, but she needs to hear that one more time. Brian Pavlik, which, by the way, I'm loving the red there on your chest.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, it's good to see you. Yes. Thanks for always having me up here. And Tyler, always good to see you and stroke skin with you. Thanks for having me up here today, guys.
Always good to touch tips.
You know, I'm not the biggest Batman or Superman fan. I know of the franchises. I've watched all the movies. In fact, I was telling you guys, the boys and I watched the 4 original Batmans just a few weeks ago. They loved it. Some of these movies still hold up. Even Mr. Freeze and his corny jokes were highlights in our house. One thing that you talk about a crossover, and help me because I haven't seen the newer ones. Has there ever been a scene where Superman is in the Batcave?
Has there ever been a scene where Superman is in the Batcave?
Because I think that alone would be cinema history. Or Fortress of Solitude, switch it around, have Batman out there, and they kind of show each other their condos.
I'm trying to think in
bachelor pads.
In the Joss Whedon Justice League.
Yeah, I think that one.
If we got a scene of Superman in a Batcave type area.
Right.
And
no, everybody else was in the Batcave, but it was before they revived Superman.
It was before he ended up coming back to their side to fight. Now, that was the Justice League, the Zack Snyder version. But the Joss Whedon version, I do wonder if there was a Superman in it. But I don't think it was the Batcave. I think it was just like a
that's
industrial setting.
That's a reason I would be hoping for a crossover.
Yeah.
Just the visual of that, and maybe them putting on their capes together, and maybe lacing each other's boots. That, you know, the things guys do in their bat caves.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about Batman Part 2. We've talked about that movie a lot as well, but it releases in 2027. And that just still feels, even though we're halfway through 2025, it feels
It's a year after the World Cup.
so far away.
Do you want a little bit of hope for the Batman Part 2?
I do.
So when not James Gunn, when Matt Reeves posted that he had finished the script, he posted a picture of him and his writing partner with the scripts and the caption, "Partners in Crime." Now, the Batman 2022 was year 2 Batman, and canonically, Batman meets a young Dick Grayson in year 3 of being Batman.
I love Batman, but I'm not sure I want Batman and Robin to share the screen again ever after 1997.
It's tough.
Well, you'll get it with Brave and the Bold, because that's going to be that's supposed to be about Damian and Bruce's relationship.
That is correct. That is correct.
You've got to get Chris O'Donnell with his sideburns and his earring out of your head. We can find a better Dick Grayson.
All we flash here is Tid, okay? So
I
let's
understand.
let's
Speaking
understand
of,
how it
I'm
goes.
holding pocket 8s from Uno today. That's
Oh.
pretty cool, right?
You know that's a soon to
I
be
think
a Vegas
I think you
table
need to
game.
go all in on the river flop with that.
That.
This show's going to be out of control today. I'm
It's taking a turn down the river.
yeah. If they make Pattinson the DCU Batman,
Yes.
Brave and the Bold is dead. So I'm just going to throw that out. I think it's dead. I think that specific entry is dead, and they end up doing something else.
I don't think they'll kill Brave and the Bold. James Gunn is obsessed with the Damian Wayne Batman. Or Damian Wayne Robin, excuse me.
You may be right. You may be right. We'll see. We'll see. Superman, though, is where we are here in 2025. $122 million domestically, worldwide, 217. So the domestic number is actually more impressive than the worldwide number.
Yes.
Like, internationally, I feel like this movie should have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
And coming in under the $100 million mark internationally, how well will this movie hold week over week? Superhero movies tend to free fall in week 2. Will that be the case with Superman? What competition does it face this weekend?
I Know What You Did Last Summer and Eddington.
Superman should still be the
Should
number
do
one movie.
great this
Should
weekend.
still be the number one movie in the country. However, if it drops 60% plus weekend over weekend, that's going to be a big hit.
Did you
Go ahead, Tyler.
you go ahead, I'm
Nope,
sorry.
it's your show. It's your tids.
Did you expect the international numbers to be higher though? Because
did.
I didn't.
I did. I expected the international numbers to be a little higher because of the spectacle of it, because of Gunn's reputation in the superhero cinematic universe, and because there are so many markets other than just obviously North America that it would be opening up to. I did think internationally it would open up to a higher number, at least over 100 million. But I mean, it's just 5 million short of that.
Is
But
it
how
because
well it holds would be
Superman
question.
stands for truth, justice, and the American way?
See, that was my thinking, that international audiences weren't as interested as seeing a story about an American guy. And then there's also the question of international relations at the moment, when you could just go see a nondescript story about about some dinosaurs.
Yeah, Jurassic World Rebirth for sure is a huge hit, but internationally, it's going to do well. But
I also think the material in Jurassic World Rebirth translates better, or a lot easier, rather.
for a month, I asked you which one of those 3 movies, Superman, Jurassic World Rebirth, or Fantastic Four, was going to do the biggest overall.
Yeah.
You were hesitant to ever give me an answer, but now
I ended up saying Jurassic World.
I got it. But now you're very confident.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're right. Dinosaurs do translate better than superheroes, especially because they're going to eat each other alive in a few weeks once Fantastic Four comes out. But Jurassic World, the franchise that won't die, in the second spot, because these movies are useless. They're pointless. It's just about getting dinosaurs eating people on screen. That's as simple as that. They're thoughtless, and they don't have to be. That's my argument, right?
I was sad to see you're out of the theater review. I mean, you guys, obviously, you'd been looking forward to Superman for almost 2 years, definitely the last 365 days. But I'm always a sucker for Jurassic World Park, whatever. And that hurt my heart a little bit to see you so disappointed. But, you know, it'll never die. It's iconic.
The original Jurassic Park is worth all the praise in the world.
All the best.
The franchise itself is the most top-heavy maybe in the history of cinema.
William H. Macy didn't do it for us today.
He did not.
Sorry.
Jurassic Park 3 is what you're referring to?
With the pterodactyl cage.
William H. Macy, he ended up in the Planet of the Apes movie last year. So he gets around with all the weird animals trying to destroy humanity thing. In the number 3 spot, F1 the movie. This is a film that has spent 3 weeks now in the top 3, as it has been in the number 1 spot. It's been in the number 2 spot. It's now been in the number 3 spot. Maybe it'll just work its way down and hit every one of those spots all the way out of the top 10. But if you're looking at the top 4 movies, because I'm going to throw How to Train Your Dragon in there in the 4th spot too.
How is that there?
I feel like...
Did it rebound somehow this week? Because you guys were writing it off the last couple of weeks, and now it's 4?
It had a small percentage drop, but it's not making a ton of money, making $7.8 million this past weekend. Families, they rush to the theater in the summer because of a number of reasons. Running out of things to do, needing air conditioning, needing a break, needing something everyone can do and not complain about. I want you to rank those 4 movies, though, Tyler, for me in order, because you've seen all 4. Superman, Jurassic World Rebirth, F1 the movie, How to Train Your Dragon, from highest in quality to lowest in quality.
Superman, F1, How to Train Your Dragon, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Ooh.
If there was any that was going to flip-flop, would it be F1 and How to Train Your Dragon? If I was forcing you to swap 2 spots, would it be that one? Are those the ones that are closest in quality gap? Or is there a big gap between all 4 of them?
So, How to Train Your Dragon is much better than Jurassic World Rebirth. I would say F1 was considerably better than How to Train Your Dragon, but I would say Superman clears F1 in my opinion by a good margin. So I would say that probably is the closest gap.
Well, I can attest when it comes to the top 3 movies there that Jurassic World Rebirth would be at the bottom of the barrel. I do see in the chat, though, that we have Jay saying, Pavlik, ignore the hate. The newest was a fun enough ride, and my kids loved it. Just don't try to make it Casablanca. So, yeah, I don't think anybody was trying to. That's my thing, right?
I mean, if they've got a piano player that plays it again, I'll be surprised, especially with little T-Rex arms trying to play the piano. That's
I have to talk here, okay? Because
your show.
Jay's
please.
invoked something here.
Uh-oh.
Okay. There's a scene with a big T-Rex. Shocker, right? Jurassic Park, Jurassic World.
The T-Rex or the D-Rex?
No, it's the T-Rex.
Oh, okay.
The D-Rex looks like... What does the D-Rex look like?
It looked mutant.
There's something the D-Rex reminded me of. Anyway, I'll get to it eventually. There's a sleeping T-Rex. Okay?
Yes.
You guys get your...
I'm listening.
You guys...
There's a DTWF Rex. Go.
There's a sleeping T-Rex, okay? And there's this family, and they're trying to get downstream, and they need a raft. And they got to work their way past this sleeping T-Rex to get to a raft, okay? I'm all for...
Is this like Fluffy the 3-headed dog in Hogwarts? Did I ruin that for you too?
No, I've gotten that part.
Okay,
thank you. I've gotten
Go
that
ahead.
part. But I understand you have to tiptoe past the T-Rex to get the raft. I get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to open the damn raft right in front of the T-Rex. Like, oh, man. Exactly. You haven't seen the movie. That's exactly how it goes. Like, she's tiptoeing. Like, oh, my gosh. And she sits it down. She opens the damn thing in front of the T-Rex. And I'm like,
is this in that preview
and the rest
where
of the family's
it
going
rolls
like,
over in the meadow? Is this what I've seen where the thing rolls over and it's like, oh, funny, T-Rex is sleeping. He's on his back like my golden doodle Elvis. And just,
I don't think there's a lot of rolling, but there is like a curled up,
yeah,
comfortable.
whatever.
But like, if it's a life or death situation and your whole family's at risk, you can't, there's nothing keeping you from going off like and privately opening up the raft or even carrying it downstream as far as it's just frustrating how stupid these movies are.
It's not like a Looney Tunes commercial where like the dinosaur goes and goes back to storing, is it?
It's
No?
there's
Kind of.
it's not too far off.
Okay. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody else
not
in
too
the
far
studio.
off.
So,
It's so I just think the movie's so stupid. Anyway,
I'm ready for it. Me and the boys have some catching up to do after we see all 3 Austin Powers movies this week.
you're a Disney expert.
Self-proclaimed.
Well, also proclaimed by me.
Oh, thank you.
Elio, whichever one of the two it is. Have you seen this movie?
Hell, no. No,
Why not?
I don't know. The current crop of Disney stuff is very hit or miss. And it's a lot of miss lately. And I can't figure it out either, guys. They have these great formulaic stuff. And I know we always complain about original content. Okay, here's Elio. Not that. Other original content. I don't know what's going on. It's almost embarrassing at this point how it's tanked. But where is it? Like 4.5?
Well, it's 5th, and it only dropped 32% weekend over weekend, but that's because it made no money the previous weekend. You know, like, that's the thing that has to be sort of taken into account, is it already made very little money.
Guys. We did it. We
So if
didn't
you're
drop.
just looking at
you didn't make money.
percentage.
Yeah, it didn't drop either.
Yeah. Really, everything from 4th down to 8th dropped very little, but that's also because
Nothing.
they made about this. It made roughly the same as they did last week, but
Woman in the Yard still up there?
it is not. Elio is currently sitting at over $100 million worldwide, but is relying pretty heavily on that international number to get there, as it's only made $63.6 million here for the House of the Mouse in this summertime affair. Pixar used to be completely bankable. Now it means nothing in terms of quality.
They'll still make Elio a meet and greet at the Magic Kingdom at some point.
You think so?
I don't know. Maybe.
Like,
Because I'm starting to see more elemental stuff in
Okay.
the parks, and it's like, well, that was a little too late, but sure.
But Elemental, right, is like the cautious tale for why you shouldn't bet against Disney long term, because it started to grow. Once word got out, it's actually pretty good. Go see it. It stayed around for a long time and ended up building up a pretty nice little haul compared to where it opened, which was like at an all-time low for Pixar.
There you go.
Elio opened at an all-time low for Pixar, and it's just never caught on with anybody. There's just no word of mouth on that movie. Tyler sees everything. He hadn't seen it.
Yeah, there was so little buzz around this movie, and it just looked just generic. Like, I know going in I wouldn't like it because I don't like that sort of big mouth animation that they do. I don't like those character models. And there was also just no buzz around it, so there was no point in me covering it.
Well, you better keep an open date when we go see Wicked 2.
All right. I'll be there.
You owe me Wicked 2. And Terrifier 4 when it comes back out.
Boomer's coming with y'all to Wicked too.
We love it.
Yeah.
28 years later, they're at the number 6 spot, and Lilo and Stitch, they're holding at the number 7 spot. Lilo and Stitch making only $1 million less than Elio, and Lilo and Stitch has been out for 8 weeks now. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning also holding there in the 8th spot, as it is a movie that is about to cross $200 million domestic. Overall, worldwide, it is approaching the $600 million mark.
Not bad.
The maybe biggest bomb of the summer overall, Megan 2.0.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Iran.
Too soon.
It was pretty big.
Megan 2.0 dropping from the 6th to the 9th spot. It's been out only for 3 weeks. It's at $22.3 million domestically. It dropped over 1,000 theaters, nearly 1,500 here going into its 3rd week. No one wants to see this. No one has gone to see it. Internationally making just $14 million, worldwide $36 million for a movie that its first one opened up basically to that number. And this one is going to end its box office run less than $50 million.
That's rough.
It is it's a very rough one for a franchise that was trying to become a franchise. Right now it's still looked at as a one-movie franchise. Yeah. You know, Megan 2.0, very unsuccessful. What will they do with that character? Will it just be something they feature in their parks? Will it be something they revert back to and go, listen up, we know we messed up with Megan 2.0, but Megan 3.0, we're getting back to horror.
Or they go the Chucky route and just make a TV series.
Maybe. I actually wouldn't be shocked by that at all.
Start with a future Halloween Horror Night at Universal and go from there.
Yeah, that sounds right. Materialists there at the number 10 spot, making almost, I mean, if you look at the overall number for Materialists, it is
35.1 domestic.
35.1 domestic, around $50 million worldwide. And for a movie of that scope and scale, even though it's a completely false marketed movie, it's a pretty big win there for A24 when they've been looking for wins this year. A24 has not been nearly as romanticized and publicized and all that as they were in previous years. So it's a very interesting time right now for A24 to see what they do to try to keep up with Neon.
Their best movie this year was probably either Bring Her Back or Warfare, and neither one of those made a huge buzz.
Yeah, neither one really caught on as being a moment, and A24 thrives on finding movies that become moments. Mm-hmm. And Materialists is maybe their biggest moment movie of the year so far, even though the quality with those two films you just mentioned is there based on everything I've heard and everything I've seen with Bring Her Back. It is important to note, and you brought this up off air, Ballerina, it is down now to less than 300 theaters across the country, and it is at a worldwide 131 million, heavily supported by its international cume, with its domestic number being less than 60 million. Ballerina is a disappointment because the overall objective, right, which is what I talk about a lot with Superman, I feel like it accomplished its overall objective. I feel like Ballerina, its big picture stuff, it didn't get right. Some of the smaller details, it did get right. It's a very weird sort of criticism to have for a movie. It's just like, big picture, why did this thing get pushed out there? And clearly people have rejected it to a point where Lionsgate's going to have to figure out what the worth of that franchise is with all the spinoffs that they've had planned. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting sort of discussion and story to follow there with Lionsgate and what they do with the John Wick franchise. All right, I now want to go ahead and move on to wrestling. And in order to properly move on to wrestling, we have a special guest who's joining us here in studio, in the Culver studio, that you don't get someone of this expertise every single time you start to talk about the squared circle. Tonight, WWE Raw is here in our home city of Birmingham, Alabama, and it's coming off of what is a very unfortunate event that occurred this past weekend. We'll talk about it here with Mr. Brian Pavlik. Brian, thank you for joining us here in studio today.
Tim, it is good to see you. I appreciate always the invite.
Yep.
Thanks for
having
having
me
me up here.
Appreciate you being
And
here.
Tyler, of course, it's always good to fondle phalanges with you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I mean, I'm not going to wrestling tonight. I had 14 hours of it this weekend because AEW had an 8-hour pay-per-view, and then WWE had 3 different wrestling programs over the weekend, including the Great American Bash from NXT, Saturday Night's Main Event, which was Goldberg's retirement match, and last night, Evolution, the women's only pay-per-view. And it was such good wrestling all weekend. I'm just going to sit at home and watch tonight, even though it's right down the road. I'm excited, but I'm kind of wrestling out.
Well, I put up some tickets for sale on my Facebook page. I had every intention of going, but we've had some schedule changes happen at the house to where we're not going to be able to pull it off. And I now have people reaching out to me wanting to buy the tickets. So the demand is there. And I think a lot of that is because of the gauntlet match that they have been promoting that's happening tonight.
Yes.
So this is going to be a great one. LA Knight is in it.
Yep.
CM Punk is in this. Braun Breaker. Penta.
Yes.
And I think there's one more.
Yeet.
Oh, yeah. Jay Uso.
Yeah,
Jay
you
Uso.
don't
How can I
yeet
forget
yourself,
Jay
yeah.
Uso? So that should be a lot of fun, and that's going to put on a heck of a show there at Legacy. I'm not completely ruling out that I'm not going, but if I get these tickets sold, then I probably will, just because of this conflict we've had. So should be a lot of fun for those that are in attendance. I have tasked you with giving some advice as a lifelong wrestling fan. And lifelong is fair to say. I mean,
I always do a fun kind of icebreaker where I say to an audience, what is a company that you are the most loyal to and why? And a lot of people, Chick-fil-A because they're customer service or things like that. And if I really think about it, for 42 years, or as long as my conscious memory allows me to, I have been a supporter of the WWE, in particular, wrestling. So that is where we watch the pay-per-views, we buy the merchandise, we go to the events. I think that is the company I've been most loyal to for my whole life. It's weird, but it's true.
Jay says, took my daughter to Atlanta last night for Evolution. She had a fun time.
Oh, yeah.
That is really
sounded
great. The event that we were going to tonight would have been my daughter's first event to attend, wrestling event.
Yeah.
And that's why I've reached out to you and said, hey, for those that maybe have never attended wrestling.
Of course.
We have a lot of pop culture fans who they hear wrestling and immediately they're like, that's never been for me. But they may find themselves someday in that environment.
Yes.
Because with pop culture and wrestling, I mean, they're linked together in the American culture for sure. Let's talk a little bit about your sort of expert advice of what you should experience, what you should be prepared to experience, maybe if this is your first time going to a wrestling event, as we start with this Meltdown Countdown with number 5.
I have said this numerous times on this show that this is my superheroes. These are my Batman and Superman that you guys can rattle off stats and, remember an episode, whatever. I can tell you what happened at Clash of the Champions 27 just as much as you can tell me in episode 53 of this comic book. But, you got like Seth Rollins, who's not going to be there with it, and Drew McIntyre. And then all of a sudden, like Goldberg come out, and he'll spear Drew McIntyre. And then Roddy Piper, who I'm dressed like, will come out and go, ha! And he'll hit Goldberg. And then Randy Orton. And then, oh no, it's Hulk Hogan. And that's not going to happen tonight.
No.
In fact, I don't think any of those guys are going to be there. Because Goldberg just retired. Hulk Hogan's not doing well.
Roddy Piper won't be there.
Roddy
I don't
Piper's
think.
dead. So here's what you can expect.
I'll tell you, if he did walk out, you know what everyone would yell? They live.
They'd live, and he's all out of bubble gum. Here's the thing. You're going to, the number 5, you're going to experience a lot of noise and a lack of noise all at the same time. The pyro is as loud as you can believe. When Kane was doing his thing, look out, put the women and children to bed because it hurts. They mic up the ring. So any slam just echoes in the BJCC. The ring bell, the ding, it's the loudest thing you've ever heard. But then a lot of people, it surprises me, they are very confused why the commentary is not being played over the loudspeakers. It's like going to a football game. You're not going to hear the broadcast team. So when they're making moves and stuff, you're like, where's Michael Cole or Pat McAfee? I don't hear them. You're not. And then they go to commercial. And you realize you are a TV audience watching a TV show. And they're breaking down the set and setting up the next set. And you just sit there. You guys having fun? Yeah. When do you want to go? You want to stay? Okay. It's quiet during those commercials.
But it's
then
also,
they'll hit a promo, but then it'll get quiet again.
But it's also fascinating because you're so used to watching it at home that when you are experiencing those quiet moments, those are actually, as a entertainment professional, those are the times I find to be the most interesting, when you can like see the way everything's being constructed behind the scenes.
When
It's
they
really
bring out
great.
the gimmick tables, or if there's a guitar or a chair, you'll kind of see the stage people just. It's fun. We always usually get seats not at ringside. We always look out and get it behind like the production area, and it is so cool to watch. Like 25 people. Okay, you're in charge of pyro, and sometimes you can like squint really close and say, "Oh, they're about to play this guy's music. Get ready, get ready." But it's cool stuff. I do appreciate the production part of it. But that's number 5. Is it's gonna be loud. It's also gonna be quiet.
The pyro, no joke. I went to the Royal Rumble in Tampa 2 years
The
ago,
dome, too.
and the pyro was so jarring,
Hurts.
and it came out of nowhere, and it was just boom, and it's like, whoa. So yeah, it does definitely rattle the senses. Let's move on to number 4.
Be a kid. Listen, we're grown people, but be a kid. Go back to your childhood with these guys. Get excited. Cheer the good guys. Boo the bad guys. Don't try to make it all about, oh, we're going to boo him. And just be a fun fan. Do the woo-woos. You'll hear that 5 million times a night. Do your
correct.
yeets. Get your yeets in. Do your LA night, type things. Everybody does the woo. I don't do the woo, by the way. Not because I don't like Ric Flair, but I just think there's a better one that is very underrated where you just go, ho! And then everybody's like, Hacksaw Jim Duggan's here. So I like to give out a good ho for Hacksaw Jim Duggan every once in a while. Wear the shirt.
I prefer that with the Godfather, by the way.
Ho train. Wear the $600 belts. Give a random clean heckle. I always encourage that. Nothing dirty or anything. Don't go, give them the viral video, the twister. Do something clean, but that might get a laugh. Yell out something like, give them a wedgie, and just see what happens. Those are fun. Let the people around you but don't overdo it. Just yell one thing. Maybe even ask during the submission, go, ask him, he's quitting. Have fun like that, but don't be an idiot.
I love it. I feel like I'm already there.
Yeah, have fun.
All right, let's move on to number 3.
$1 Million Man, everybody's got a price. You are going to pay the price for these events, and that's money. That is time. All right, tickets are expensive. I'm not going to lie. This whole TKO Holdings group, they have made tickets expensive. I'm sorry, but you also got to park. You've got to eat. You've got to buy the merchandise. You've got to go to the concession stands. And then time. You've got to give yourself time to get to the BJCC. You've then got to get in early because it's a 2.5-hour show, but you may have some matches an hour before. You may have one an hour later. The boys and I, we went up to Huntsville last year for an AEW event. Show starts at 7. The first match was at 6:30. But then we found out halfway through, they're double taping tonight. We didn't leave Huntsville until 12:30 in the morning, and they still had 2 matches to go. So time and money, you're going to be paying it tonight. Not to say don't go, just you got to budget for both.
Absolutely. You're not joking there. And if you ever go to a premium event where they have those tiers of what you can take in.
Oh, yes.
I've seen a lot of wrestling fans with their reviews of what you get with those meet and greets, what you get with those food experiences, what you get with those private signing experiences.
Absolutely.
And they vary really. And it's all based on your expectations, right? There was a meet and greet with Bret Hart going into WrestleMania. And if you paid, thousands of dollars per ticket, he showed up for 5 minutes and left. And that was it. And it was just like a general, hey, thank y'all for being here. Excited about WrestleMania. All right, bye.
Yep.
And that was it. And it's like, oh, man, you may love Bret Hart, but you may not love that full experience. And read the fine print, what you get in those guarantees. Obviously, a show like tonight, just being in that arena during these matches should suffice because it's not that premium live event. Right. But it's amazing what you can pay to get now where maybe you're watching WrestleMania with The Undertaker sitting next to you for $10,000 a ticket or something like that.
You have the funds, do it, man.
Absolutely.
I saw a video. I'm assuming it came across y'all's timelines at one point, but somebody, I believe it was Rhea Ripley, somebody had bought a meet and greet ticket and then got her to sign adoption papers. You've seen it.
Listen, it's weird. There's weirdo fans. Comic cons that meet wrestling fans meet weirdos.
She calls herself mommy. So this is why it happened.
Yes.
Yeah. So Hey, will you be my
Educate
mommy?
yourself
And,
there,
you know, sign
lovable
this.
boy wonder dog.
And what concerned me was she did it without calling over a representative going, what am I signing here? Like,
Concerned me was it was
She did it
notarized.
immediately.
she basically was like, what? Okay, that's clever. Boom, signed it. And I'm like, is that legally binding now?
How old
Anyway.
was the guy who? No, never mind.
He was probably 40.
Rhea Ripley, can you? Oh God, yes.
I think we're at number 2.
We are at number 2. And you gave me this list prior to the weekend, and so I had written it, and I have limited wrestling, but tonight you might actually get a lot of wrestling because we had an unfortunate, and by the way, wrestling's real. Seth Rollins has completely blew out his knee. He's down here in Birmingham, where they all come, by the way. It's really cool. But he can't wrestle, and now things have to pivot. And because of that, you're now kind of given what's called a gauntlet match, which is 2 guys are going to start. They're going to wrestle a match. The winner stays. Another guy comes in. And because of that, you might get an hour and 15 minutes of one technical match, but it's going to be 5 different matches.
Love it.
So you're going to get your heroes, like we mentioned, CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight. They're all going to be in this match. I was going to say, because again, it's a TV show, you may get limited wrestling. Because again, now we're past kind of this hurdle of these pay-per-views and these PLEs, as they call them. Now we're building for SummerSlam. So the new angles, I don't know if you guys saw, but now we've got Logan Paul and Jelly Roll, who are going to be on opposing teams at SummerSlam. Yes, Jelly Roll and Logan Paul. We had that on our bingo card. But, as you can imagine, not a lot of movement from Jelly Roll, except for a couple of things. He would go out and talk if this was SmackDown. Tonight, completely different. You're going to get a lot of wrestling. It's not the limited that I thought when I was coming on this show, but now it's like, all right, CM Punk. And then 15 minutes later, okay, we're kind of done with CM Punk. Can we get to the next guy? So just know that your heroes are going to be there tonight. It's going to be great. You're going to get a chance to do all the things, but you may actually get tired of them. And that's a completely different mindset. I remember there was a TV taping being from Montgomery, Alabama. They always did 5 Saturday night, WCW Saturday nights in a row. 5 weeks worth of taping. And I think in 5 shows, I saw Ming 4 times. It's like, it's Ming again. Holy crap. And the 5th one, I'll never forget. The 5th one, it was the big Dungeon of Doom. And Dungeon of Doom was beating up, I don't know, Sting or somebody, whoever's in my bag. And Macho Man ran out from the crowd, ran to the ring, chased the guys off, ran back through the crowd. And that's all Macho did. He flew to Montgomery, Alabama for 10 seconds of, get out of here. And that was it. So your heroes may show up, but don't expect the meet and greet. It's literally, there he is. Here's my sign. He's gone. Oops, sorry.
You're good. Laying the smack down there on the microphone. All right. We are here at the coveted number 1 spot.
Coveted number
Your
1.
biggest piece of advice for those attending maybe their first wrestling event or bringing someone who's attending their first wrestling event. What is this big piece of life advice that you've been able to accumulate?
When the boys and I always watch, we always have the conversation before. This is choreographed stunt work. None of the stuff you were going to see is actually intended to harm. It's all for our kind of entertainment. And that's the biggest thing. Appreciate the art form, okay? This is more than just roided up muscle heads wiggling around in their underwear. This is somehow a choreographed performance of athleticism. And sometimes you have to imagine what being 6'5", 6", and almost 300 pounds and doing backflips. It's just
I do
incredible.
it every day.
Yeah, of course. That's how we
do
get
it
up
every
in the
day.
morning. It's incredible what they do, and then of course just appreciating that they're away from families on the road and all this to entertain you. So just appreciating the pageantry of it. It really is live theater in a physical art form. And I know, oh great, so I'm going to see Wicked on. No, you're not, but you're going to see characters. You're going to see set changes. You're going to see costumes. There's going to be an intermission or 2. There might even be a song or 2 because you got your theme songs. And then you're going to have plots and all that. It is theater. It really is. But it's in an athletic, amazing form.
So
and it's the greatest thing you'll ever do.
How do you deal with people in your life that I assume you've run across that is like, oh, you like that stuff? It's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
How do you deal? What's typically your response to that?
Show him Seth Rollins' knee exploding. Show him how Cody Rhodes tore his pectoral muscle and had just purple all over through here. And then say, okay. I always love pointing them back to the interview where this was back in the 80s where some late night correspondent asked this famous wrestler, Dr. Dave Schultz. And he said, wrestling's fake. And he slapped him across his face. He said, does that feel fake? Now, Dave Schultz paid a handsome fine because of it, but that guy never forgot. Think of it like tussling with your friends, like maybe when we were younger on a trampoline, like, oh, I'm going to put you in this move. But then think about doing that for a full 30, 45 minutes. I mean, you have to have the stamina. You have to have the endurance. You have to have the physicality to do it. Listen, say it's fake all you want. I'm not saying that to anybody's face. Nobody that's 6'5", 236 and looks like Goldberg.
If you look around at all the things that we have decorating this office, right? Minus the stars and the Dallas Mavericks poster, but everything in here to some degree or another is fake.
Yeah.
If you want to use that term fake, right?
I said it earlier. I said his name out loud. That's not Oswald Cobblepot. That's Danny DeVito.
Right.
You know, the greatest. We could do a humorous trivia game one day about wrestling real names. The greatest real name out there is Michael Hickenbottom. Do you know who Michael Hickenbottom is?
No, I do not.
Do you know who Michael Hickenbottom is?
No, not off the top of my head.
Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
I'd change my name too. So they play characters, and then they go home, and he lives as Michael Hickenbottom, dork.
The same people who will argue until they're blue in the face that wrestling is fake and dumb will also watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve and go, this is the realest moment of my life. You know, and it's like, okay, we can love it all, right?
Yes.
All art form in some way or another is intended to engage an audience. And I love what wrestling does to engage for sure.
Any art form is going to stir you to emotions. This happens to be the weird one that I picked.
Yeah. And there are sports fans who look at it as being beneath them, and there are artistic fans who look at it as being beneath them, and then there's
you're
people
going to find diehard fans tonight, like you would find at any Auburn, Alabama game, who would spend money. Why do you spend money on that? Why do you spend money on season tickets for a 5-7 team? Ooh.
I thought you were talking about Bruce Willis' Die Hard again there for a second.
True. That's true.
Here, I want to tell you a place where the experience is very real, and I've had it multiple times. And I'm telling you, you're going to have a great time over on Grants Mill Road. That's Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, Dr. Nolan. Over at Alabama Dental, they are going to make sure that you are completely taken care of when it comes to your dental health. If you have some chompers that need to be worked on, this is the place to go. Maybe you're new in town, need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. That is something you always need to accomplish once you relocate. This is the team for you. They're accepting new patients now and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. For more information or to make an appointment, call them at 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. All right, we look forward now to talking about with a brand new expert here on the show today. Mr. Brian Pavlik's here to talk about Live Aid and its impact culturally. We've talked a lot about pop culture. Live Aid is one of those moments that was lightning in a bottle for music fans and for a great cause that people are still talking about to this very day. I have said as much as I possibly can about Live Aid, minus the Bohemian Rhapsody movies, probably the best encapsulation of this recently in pop culture lore. Mr. Brian Pavlik, welcome in, and thank you so much.
Tim, it is so good to see you. Thank you so much, as always, for having me. Yeah, it's good to see you. And, of course, Tyler, with you, it's always good to bump bones with you, my friend.
I'm trying to think about which one of the Bushwhackers you look like right now.
Do I look like more like Mario?
A little bit. Yeah, you do have a Mario vibe going. Yeah, I think maybe it's the red on the. You got to get rid of that.
Got to get the Freddie Mercury.
There we go. Now we go.
You know, type thing.
Now it is.
Live Aid. What do you want to talk about?
Live Aid is something that means something to you. Tell me why.
You know, I am a big fan of festivals. We've actually done Woodstock countdowns on your show, and I don't know what it is. I just love live festivals, music, artists in their prime type thing. And as I have grown up playing guitar and just loving music, you know, these things come about. Like, did you ever see Queen at Live Aid? What's Live Aid? I was 2. And then you go back and you watch and you're like, okay, wow, that was an iconic performance. Or, you know, where did the song Do They Know It's Christmas get its start? It got its start from a BBC documentary. What is going on here? So looking at the history of music, and then, of course, I'm a big sucker for anniversaries. Yesterday was the 40th anniversary of Live Aid. And as I told you, I said, I think that would be good, but I don't know how much of your audience would care for anything like that. And then yesterday on social media, all over the place, people were posting their favorite Live Aid moments. So it's like, well, let's get into it a little bit. Why was it important? So you were like, sure, I got nothing better to do. And here I am, just little shimmy, little shake.
I don't. Okay. I think the Live Aid scene from Bohemian Rhapsody, it's number one, it's something I've always got to play with. It's recommended on YouTube, especially when it's synced up with the actual Live Aid performance, because it is so incredibly good.
So good.
But a lot of people, Tyler's age particularly, this means nothing to them.
No.
Preach a little bit as to why you're here to speak on it today, and I want you to give me a little bit of the history of connecting it.
You know, and there's going to be experts out there who know more about it than I do, but what I love is, first of all, what really irritates me is this would never happen today, because one guy, and for all intents and purposes, Bob Geldof was not the biggest name in music at the time this happened. But he saw a documentary on the famine in Ethiopia at the time and said, we have to do something about this. Let's be humanitarians here. Let's raise money for an awareness and all that. And he got friends together through his contacts in the music business and said, let's put on a benefit concert.
And what a Rolodex it was.
It's crazy, because we'll go through some of the list here in a little bit. And since then, we've had things like Farm Aid and all those things that have happened. But this was the first one that said, let's get all these people together for a true benefit. Who would lead the charge today and risk being too political or wasting their time, or is the money going to go the right way? This will never happen. And that's what made this so special, is because you literally got the cream of the crop in the 80s to say, I'm in. Tell me where. And he said, okay, good. I'll tell you where. You're going to play 2 places. Crazy. Back in 85, we're going to do 2 places. Of course, Wembley, one of the most famous arenas in the world. And then what is one of the best American towns ever? Philadelphia. By the way, it's in JFK Stadium, holds 70,000 people for a football game. We'll put 100,000 people in there. Brilliant. Now you got to fill it. You've had Woodstock. Woodstock had a lineup. Oh my gosh, who's going to play this thing? And that's, again, like we were talking about. Yeah, if it's for a good cause, let's get some of the up-and-coming people in America and British pop culture and music, but then let's get the legends and... Go.
A lot of people associate it just simply with Queen, just simply with Freddie Mercury. Who else made up this lineup that really stands out to you?
Well, first of all, you have your 2 groups, USA for Africa and Band-Aid. Yes, Band-Aid.
They were sticking with the motif.
We're sticking with it. Band-Aid. So you've got Band-Aid, the English version, who did Do They Know It's Christmas? So featured on that, Phil Collins, Sting, Bono, Paul Young, a few just great people. Boy George sings on it. USA for Africa, they get together after the Grammys one night. Bruce Springsteen, Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, Cyndi Lauper, Huey Lewis and the News, Michael Jackson, produced by Quincy Jones. It just artists. Which song is better, in your opinion? Do They Know It's Christmas or We Are the World?
We Are the World would be the one I would go with.
Worst songs ever.
We Are the
Tyler,
World?
What do you think? Yes. I can't stand it.
We are the world.
Yeah, I know how it goes.
We are the children.
But you got to do the Michael part. We are the world. And then you got to have... And I don't know if that's Bruce Springsteen or Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis crushes it in that song.
He crushes it. And then Cyndi Lauper.
So hold on. You're gonna come
I'm
in
gonna
here.
die on that hill. Go
You're
ahead.
gonna come
at
in-
me, big boy.
You're gonna come in here.
Yes, and
and
tell
you're
you
gonna
that
talk
Do They Know It's Christmas is better than We Are the World.
You're wrong.
You're awful.
You're the worst.
Awful.
Okay.
You used to come on this show.
Come on, talking about the greatest that the 80s has to offer, and you're going to...
And say that it's a great song, but if I'm shuffling through and I hear... Dun, 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 I'm listening to that over... There comes a time when we lead a heavy hand.
You're making me want to listen to it right now.
No.
You're actually making me more jazzed
Lionel
for
Richie. Okay. So we're going to do a concert. And we're going to focus on around these two songs. You have a comment. Go ahead. Yes. I'm ready.
I don't know if I should say it.
Yeah, you should.
So I might have a take that's worse than Tim's take.
Uh-oh.
How's my take worse? How's my take bad?
Let the boys speak.
I've never heard either of these songs.
Oh, yeah, he was
What are we
right.
doing here?
So at least we've joined forces now.
Sit back down, Wonder Boy, Red Rocket Dog. All right. 2 million people, 2 billion people are going to be able to watch these concerts because of TV and the satellite connection that's going to link up both of them. So you were watching from one, but experiencing at the other. And why I think it was so popular on the American front had nothing to do with the American portion of it. There was this fascination with English culture at the time. Rise of Margaret Thatcher.
Always has been.
Princess Diana. The Falkland Islands, if you can care about. And this was still 5 years, less than 5 years of John Lennon's death. So there was this infatuation with what's going on across the pond. So for them to have these artists and stuff, I think that's why Americans tuned in, because they were interested in the English lineup. We'll get into the lineups here in just a second. But then MTV comes along in 81. And MTV says, okay, this is 4 years into it. This is one of our biggest moments where we could help broadcast this to an audience. We could have now, instead of just music videos, we can have live concerts on our channels. And there's a great moment where old school VJs, Mark Goodman and Martha Quinn, are singing their hearts out to Teach Your Children by Crosby, Stills, Nash. It's just one of the most pure, they're just having a good time. And that's when it's like, okay, that's when it's real. That's when it's cool. That's the impact. And so MTV had a big thing to do with it too. And then ABC did a broadcast of it with Dick Clark, had the big headset thing, live from JFK type. And then we're going to go to Phil Collins. And actually, we're going to go backstage to Bette Midler. How's it going back there? And Bette Midler is just nuts and off her, you know what's. But it's good. It's just 80s pop culture all in one 16 to 18-hour day. It's amazing. So
how's the weather? Do you have any?
Hot as you know what in Philly, and then just British weather.
Yeah.
Sunny in Wembley Stadium.
Got it.
Why not? But that's the thing. It starts the infamous, it's 12 noon London, 7 Philadelphia time. So if you showed up at 7 in the morning in Philly, you're seeing Status Quo start rocking Wembley Stadium on the big screen. And then 2 hours later, 9 o'clock a.m. Philadelphia, Joan Baez comes out there. Hey, a nod to Woodstock. That's cool. She comes out, does her little soulful voice. Great. 10 a.m. Philly. Who plays? 10 a.m. Oh, let's get crazy. That's too paranoid. Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne at 10 a.m. after Joan Baez had rocked this thing. That's what you were in store for all day. It's just, wow. And Black Sabbath actually came after Billy Ocean. Wanna be your lover boy. Then they bring out Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
It's craziness.
It was a shuffle playlist before shuffle playlists
It was
existed.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. So there were some bad moments. And sadly, I'm going to disappoint a lot of people. The Beach Boys were tough because their vocals are so good in studio. Live, you try hitting the high notes of Good Vibrations. Madonna was great, but the crowd wanted nothing to do with her for whatever reason. She rocked. She danced. She played the tambourine to her heart's content, sang all of her hits up to that point. Looked great, by the way. Not this E.T. looking thing we have now that's calling herself Madonna. But the crowd just didn't care for her. Phil Collins, he played both. He played Against All Odds in London and then performed with Sting. He was a little rough. Flew across to Philadelphia, played Against All Odds. It was okay. But then he played In the Air Tonight. Yes! On piano. What? How do you do In the Air Tonight on piano and not on drums? The crowd had to do the drum part. Terrible. Just bad. And then Phil Collins was the drummer for the Led Zeppelin reunion. This was horse poo. They had not rehearsed.
Yeah.
They were just awful. They played rock and roll. Robert Plant couldn't hit the notes anymore. Stairway to Heaven. Here comes the iconic guitar solo, and it's like Jimmy Page forgot how to play guitar. It's just headache city. We have to stop saying Bob Dylan is good. Hot takes. Bob Dylan hadn't been good since '64. I'm sorry.
The movie did not change my opinions about this at all.
He was bad. He was bad.
That movie was awful.
The Who were terrible. I hate to say that. I mean, they're rock, but they were not good. And then there was supposed to be the appearance by Michael Jackson. Never happened. Tears for Fears dropped out because reasons. Huey Lewis dropped out. I mean, I think we should have had Huey Lewis. Bruce Springsteen didn't show. And then, of course, there was a much hyped, maybe there's a Beatles reunion. Never happened.
So it's why Queen was able to sort of seize the whole.
Queen had an opportunity, but they had competition, no doubt. Because even the bands of the time, Tragic Kingdom had just released back in '85, 10 years prior to when they actually put it on CD. The Pretenders, the Cars, I mentioned Sting, all of them were good. The guys who played before Queen, Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, Money for Nothing, with Sting doing the intro of I Want My MTV. Perfect. David Bowie came after Queen, rocked. Elton John, I think, actually had the biggest crowd participation, but you couldn't see it because in the nighttime. Him and Kiki D doing Don't Go Breaking My Heart, I think actually had more crowd participation than Radio Gaga. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
And then when he introduced George Michael to do Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, he got the biggest ovation of the night. And then, of course, you ended it with rock royalty all on stage doing Do They Know It's Christmas in July in England, far away from Ethiopia. But they rocked it. So
A less superior song than We Are the World.
yeah, that's one man's opinion.
I couldn't weigh in here if I wanted.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Eric Clapton, I know Eric Clapton's been a subject of conversation on all shows in this studio for months. He was good. Give him his credit. He was good. He did White Room with Phil Collins on drums. Sounded really good. Layla, good stuff. But then, of course, everybody talks about Queen. All right. So, why was Queen so good? Well, of course, when you look like this, it's going to be good.
You got the arm movements down.
You did. If I had the little mic. You know what? Screw it. That's the day I've made my point.
The funniest part was you went to throw it on the table. It still hit the ground.
So Queen performs at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And up to that point, the only rock group was U2. So they were just ready. That crowd was at a fever pitch. And it's in the daylight where you can see it. If this happens at nighttime, I don't think it's as popular. Think of the great moments in rock and roll history that get always played, those visuals. They're always in the daytime. I start with Jimi Hendrix playing the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock. He was supposed to play at 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, but because of weather, he wound up at 9 o'clock on a Monday, and I think that was the best thing that ever happened to him because you had the daylight visuals of him doing the Star Spangled Banner. Wouldn't have been as popular at night. I think the Limp Bizkit stuff at Woodstock 99 happened in the daylight. That's why they get the blame, because you could see all the carnage. You can't tell me that wasn't going on against Rage Against the Machine later in the evening. So they get the benefit of having the daylight. Like I said, Elton John, all those guys probably had the biggest crowd participation. You just didn't see it because it was in the dark. So Queen gets that. They do 6 songs in 20 minutes, and it's a sprint. And that's why they were so tight. They were so well rehearsed where they said, you're giving us 20. We're going to take 20 on the dot. And they nail it. And they play their biggest hits all in 6 minutes. But then what I love about Queen is they had the benefit of MTV. Radio Gaga was a wonderful MTV produced music video that had the hand motions. Yes, just like the Macarena or any other song that involves the hands and doing something with the crowd, they had open hands, clap, clap. And that's all that it took for people to say, greatest concert ever. It was not. I think it was U2 right before it. U2, the crowd, if you read articles about it, the crowd was there for U2. They had just come out with their 4th album. War, that incredible album, had already come out, and they were supposed to do 3 songs. Sunday Bloody Sunday, a song called Bad, and then Pride, In the Name of Love. Songs we have heard, the 2 in particular, bookends. U2 comes out there, crowd nails Sunday Bloody Sunday. Go and watch that performance. They are just going off. And then they do a song called Bad, which is kind of a political song. Well, they all are. They're U2. But halfway through the song, Bono recognizes that a young lady is getting crushed to death up against the banister. So in true professionalism, the band keeps playing. Bono hops down, basically saves her life, brings her out of the wreckage and all that, and then the whole thing goes, and he just basically says, thanks, everybody, and leaves. If they did Pride in the Name of Love to that crowd in that moment, that would have forever been the greatest musical moment of legend and lore to this day. And that is a hill I will also die on. Queen still would have been great, but 80,000 Wembley people, in the name of love, you can just visualize what that would be in 1985.
We were playing poker a few weeks ago, and Jim Dunaway, the song Radio Gaga, came on our poker list. And Jim turned around and said, I think this is my least favorite song of all time, or this song is by far and away the worst Queen song, or this song's awful. He said something to that regard.
Yeah.
I was like, I like the song. I like Radio Gaga.
It's a fine song.
And it was the live version there.
Yes. It's a
at
fine
Live Aid.
song. Time has been good to Radio Gaga. And again, chronologically, I don't know where they came, but you can't tell me that Fat Bottom Girls would not have had the better reaction. Or you can't tell me they did Crazy Little Thing Called Love, but Stone Cold Crazy. Or any other song in that list, they would have said that was one of the great. Radio Gaga just gets the crowd going because of the audience participations, the shot of Freddie from the back into that sea of people all doing the same thing. That's what makes that moment special. They had the right song doing the right hand motions at the right time of day for the perfect frontman.
You like the movie Bohemian Rhapsody?
It was great. I thought it was a good representation. And like you said, those final 20 minutes, fantastic.
They changed the history around a little bit there.
Yeah, of course
they changed the personal story. They heightened the stakes, but I mean the stakes didn't even need to be heightened for what was an all-time great performance there. So overall, if there's one word you could use to describe sort of the legacy of Live Aid, what is it?
It's Queen. It's sad. I mean, it really is because that's what people think of.
That is
they
true.
think of that performance, but don't discredit everything else that has happened. Again, if you have the time, it's only 2 songs. It's about 15 minutes. Go watch U2. Go watch The Cars. So good. 80s pure classic music. And then even treat yourself to the train wreck that is Led Zeppelin. You can go online and see that. Go watch The Who, where they want to do Won't Get Fooled Again, and get ready for the whole loud final scream of Roger Daltrey, but it all falls apart. It's people who were there for the right reason. And then I think the most iconic moment, the greater song of the two, Do They Know It's Christmas in Wembley Stadium in July. You would think that the sporting team had won the cup.
Well, I feel like we are all winners today after what was this experience. There is another place you can be a winner. That's MyBookie at mybookie.ag. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. They're at MyBookie. Make sure you use promo code NEXTROUND for that first-time deposit bonus. They're at mybookie.ag. Pavlik, whatever you do for energy in your life, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a supplement. Maybe you're just born with it. Maybe it's...
Do I look like a guy who's been on supplements in his life?
I'm not accusing anyone of anything in this room. However, I'm telling you that I want a little bit of that energy that you bring each and every time.
Surround yourself with good people. Bump bones with some of the best people in your life, and your life will change.
All right. Good stuff there. All kinds of advice today from the one and only Brian Pavlik, and we appreciate him being here with us in absence of EG especially. She is in Atlanta covering all things SEC Media Days for the next round and the team there. Follow all the socials to get all the coverage there, and we appreciate all of the lovely sponsors that make everything happen. Anything else you want to say about the fine folks that you work with on a daily basis, Mr. Brian Pavlik?
As I'm dressed like this, look, they'll take care of anybody in any shape or fashion at any time. But seriously, it's going to be a different day in healthcare. Whatever experience you or a loved one have had in the past, give it a chance, because it's hard to market healthcare. Like, come see us at the hospital. We'll have a great time. You don't offer the Labor Day special. So it's just one of those, think about us and pray about us when you don't need us, but definitely trust us when you do.
All right. We appreciate you very much. Tyler, we will do this thing again tomorrow, my friend, and that is going to do it for us. Make sure you check out our Superman spoiler review. It's up on the channel for you to enjoy if you want to get into some of those spoilery takes. Maybe you saw the movie over the weekend. You want to hear some of our full thoughts on the exact plot points. We're going to keep the live stream, for the most part, spoiler-free for at least the next week or so, as we give people more and more time to be able to check out the actual film that is the #1 movie in the world right now in Superman. We appreciate you very much. We'll see you again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.